Hey guys, Dan Major here from Merger Data, and I'm going to show you really quickly how you can set up custom pre-meeting reminders inside of HubSpot. So if you have the meeting scheduler, you know that there's already meeting reminder emails, but all three or all four emails that you send out will all have to be the same template. You can't customize each and every one of them. And so this is a way that you can build out a workflow to make sure that you can send different emails leading up to your meeting. And so the first thing to start out is we're going to need to create a property on the contact object called next meeting date. And so it's going to be a date picker property. Go in there, create the property, call it next meeting date, and we're going to use this in the workflow. So I'm going to go over here, create a workflow from scratch. And then we're going to use a contact interaction trigger here. And it's going to be based off of meeting events and then meeting booked. And so when the meeting is booked, we are going to take that meeting date and then stamp it on the contact property that we just created. And then we're going to do a delay based off of that date. So this is without using Operations Hub. You won't need any custom code steps. You can do it that way as well and open up a lot more functionality with it. But this is the very basic way to do it. So as completed meeting book is the trigger. We're going to click on next. We're going to allow for re-enrollment here. Click on save and continue. And now we're going to configure the workflow. So we're going to edit record. We're going to choose our property that we just created, the next meeting date. And then we're going to click on this date field here. And then we're going to choose the data source that we're going to actually pull this from. And so you might already have the most recently updated meeting in there. You could use this. You could use most recently created as well. Up to you. It shouldn't make much of a difference. We're making a lot of assumptions here for this build, but you can add a new data source here. Click on drop down, scroll all the way down to meeting or search it, doesn't matter. Click on meeting, and then we can choose any of these, but we're going to do if associated to the enrolled contact, all associated meetings, and then most recently created. So now we'll have both of these data sources in there. If I go back here, click on the dropdown, you can see we have most recently updated and most recently created. I'm going to select most recently created. I'm then going to pick meeting start time. Now this is mapped and we're copying it to the property. So now we have this next meeting date property to also analyze and see if there's next meetings booked or not. I'm going to click save. And now what we can do is add in a delay step, delay until a date property, and then we can search for the next meeting date and put that in there. And so now this was copied in the prior step from the meeting that was just booked. And we're assuming also that if there's multiple meetings booked, we're just going to take the one that was booked most recently. It's not perfect. That's where the custom code steps come in, where you can actually compare this next meeting date property and see if that date is before or after the one that we're trying to update. But for this example, we're going to keep it simple, assume that there's only one meeting booked at a time. So we're going to delay until before the date. And now we can set up our sequence here to send out various emails. So say we want to do it 10 days before meeting. That's excessive, actually. Move this back. We'll do 5 days before meeting, and then pick a time that we want to delay until to send that email. And then we also want to add a branch here in case that the meeting was booked maybe for tomorrow or sometime sooner. We want to be able to skip the email, not just rapid fire send out a bunch at one time. So we're going to click save. And so now this will delay until 5 days before that next meeting date at 9:30. If it's on this assigned date, this is where we would add in our marketing email. So send email. So we could do an example welcome email here and then click save. And so that'll be the email that's sent. One additional thing that I forgot is probably important here is making sure that we're setting the contact as a marketing contact here. If you don't have other workflows that are doing this already when people book meetings, then what you're going to want to do is add this in. And I actually don't have this in here because it's a demo account, so I don't have that option to do marketing contacts. So just make sure to add in that set as marketing contact step in the front. Now going back down here, this should never happen. This branch should never happen. The date property unknown. So we're just going to leave that blank here. After assigned date, if this comes in, this next meeting date is 3 days before instead of 5 days, we don't want to send this email because we have other emails that are going to come in the sequence. That's what we want to do is instead, we just want to go to the next action in the branch. So we're going to add in another delay till a date property, same configuration as before date. And this one, we're going to put 3 days. Then we're also going to pick a time in the morning. Yes, add a branch, leave that on. So now we get the same type of logic further down. And so now we add a go to action on this after assigned date branch, and then put it to the delay that we just created. And now we put the email in again. Click on save. And this is how we build out this pre-meeting drip campaign. So you can customize this. You can send out one email on a case study that's relevant to the person who booked. You can send out another email on a pre-meeting video that you want them to watch. You can pretty much customize it however you want, and you can get out of that standard template from the meeting scheduler settings page where it's the same for every single one, because those just get annoying. They don't add any value a lot of times, or people have already seen it. And so why would they want to see another email with the exact same content over and over again? So this is how you build pre-meeting reminders inside of HubSpot, custom pre-meeting reminders using native workflow steps. You don't need Ops Hub Pro to build it this way, but you can do that if you want to get more fancy with it. I'm Dan Saavedra from Merger Data. Thanks.